I want you to read this disturbing post. It's from a website, from this Colorado killer that we've been telling you about. You're going to be startled by this. We were either at church, he writes, or being brainwashed in Christian homeschool. When we did have free time, we were either forced to pray, read the Bible, do chores, or, well, nothing, since we were not allowed to do anything. Well, I got all fed up with the insanity, hypocrisy, conflicting doctrines, the child abuse, brainwashing, the lies, the gossip, the scandals, the threats, and the fear-mongering. Me and many others are waking up. We will rise up above and against these abuses against humanity. Now, this is a kid who's nuts. He's a crazed killer. His name is Matthew Murray. He wrote that. His resentment toward Christianity boiled over last Sunday when he went on a shooting rampage and killed 4 innocent people at a youth mission and a church before finally turning the gun on himself, with a little help from a security guard, I should add. Now, as I talked to different people about this amazing story earlier this week, I was personally stunned by the comments of one particular psychologist. Had never heard anybody say what she said. She reached out to Murray, interestingly enough, and she'd sympathized with his anger toward religion. Marlene Winell is joining us again. By the way, she's written a book on this. It's called Leaving the Fold, a guide for former fundamentalists and others leaving their religion. And then there's Leonard Lovett. He is here. He's going to disagree with her. He's a former pastor who now works with Pentecostal and charismatic churches of North America. So get ready for an interesting and possibly disagreeable but very respectful discussion. Doctor, I'm going to begin with you. Your assertion seems to be that part of this fundamentalist movement is hurting the people who go to these churches, and in particular, children. Take the next 40, 45 seconds to make your case.
Well, I think that there are some teachings in certain kinds of Christianity that are extremely toxic, and they do cause mental health problems, and they cause...
Like what?
Well, they cause people to have a real difficulty in thinking for themselves because you're really taught not to think. You're not allowed to think. You're not allowed to doubt. You're not allowed to ask questions. People that go to their pastors with just some simple questions get told that this is sinful. So they basically have to shut down. Some people even call it intellectual suicide in order to conform and be a part of this church. These churches are all about fear and conformity.
These churches are about fear and conformity. We get
That's
that.
right.
Would you please tell us exactly which churches you're talking about? You're not talking about all Christianity, right?
No, I'm talking about the literal Bible-believing fundamentalist type churches and other authoritarian groups. And
so the charismatics, the Pentecostals, those?
Yes, and it can also be types of Mormonism or Jehovah's Witness and other kinds of groups. It can be other religions, but any religion that really basically dictates what you have to think, and you have to conform to the group or else you can't belong.
All right,
there's a lot of threat about what's going to happen to you.
We got that, but let's give Leonard Lovett a chance to respond to what he just heard you say. Have at it, Pastor.
Well, first of all, I want to, my prayers go out to the victims and persons who have suffered this particular tragedy. My concern is when the author makes the generalization about fundamentalist churches, and then she classifies Pentecostals with those groups. I think it's a giant leap from the act of a person to...
hey, Pastor, let's do this. I don't want to talk about this person, okay? This is not about this kid. This kid was a nutcase, all right? He had completely gone bonkers, and I think we all understand that. The point she's making is that it's not him, that the church is doing that to many others who maybe don't act out this way, but nonetheless they're being hurt. That's her point, and how do you respond?
Well, I have a problem because in listening to this particular situation, it seemed as though the young man was put out of the church and apparently came back.
Pastor, we're not talking about this young man. We're talking about, she's saying many people who go to these churches have this happen to them, that your particular brand of Christianity is hurting people rather than helping them. That's what she's saying. How do you respond?
Well, that's a generalization. It's biased to say that a particular brand of religion. Now, I must agree that there are some groups that are toxic. What they teach is very toxic.
Like who? Like who?
Well, I won't specify specific names for reasons, but there are brands of religion that are toxic and authoritarian. But if you generalize and say Pentecostals across the board are authoritarian, I have a problem with that because you generalize.
Let me give the doctor a chance to respond to you then. He seems to be saying too broad a brush stroke. Could you be a little more, doctor, definitive as to what you think the problem is, which churches and what they're doing wrong?
Well, I don't know if that's really the angle here that would make the most sense. I think what we have here is a huge learning opportunity, and I think that it's a mistake. For example, New Life is talking about this whole thing as an attack of Satan.
Well, is New Life, let me stop you real quick. Is New Life one of the churches that you're talking about?
New Life holds to some of the toxic beliefs that I'm talking about. I actually have a couple of clients that are from New Life.
How widespread is this problem that you seem to perceive in this country, do you believe?
It's huge. We have tens of thousands of walking wounded in this country.
And would you compare it to what? The fundamentalist movements like in the Middle East, like the Taliban and stuff like that? Would you go as far as to compare it to that?
Well, it doesn't get as severe in terms of, you know, what people have to wear, although some groups do go that far. The similarity is the ruling that you're not supposed to think for yourself, and that's really dangerous. That's really dangerous to a democracy.
You're not against religion or Christianity, are you?
I'm not against healthy religion or healthy Christianity or healthy spirituality, and I'm certainly not anti-God, and neither is the website that Matthew Murray was posting on.
It's an amazing discussion. We'll continue to look into it, and I'm glad we were trying to get a chance to have both sides here. Former pastor Leonard Lovett, and of course Marlene Winell joins us again. We'll continue to look into it. My thanks to both of you.